everybody, my name is Joey. I am having such a great time. What you see here, these colorful elements, are from my Potomac Beads treasure box for the month of July 2025, and it was called Colorful Carnival. And these are some things that I've pulled from my stash. These are the earrings that I made in my unboxing video. They are so cool. These acrylic laser cut star components are in the box, and more colorful carnival beads. So I'll put a link to that video in case you missed that one. But I've pulled out some of my favorite things from the box. These check glass cube beads, these Azuki seed beads. They were a size 8.0. It's a 10-gram tube, and it's an opaque purple, and I'm probably going to be using every single one of these. And I have here a big eye needle. I always have this assortment of big eye needles linked in my description box in my favorite tools. There are like some really long ones in this tube. I don't know if the camera's showing you, but these are so fabulous. Sometimes when you're stringing with Brazilian waxed cord and you have a few cords to get through a bead, a big eye needle can really help with that. I have my stop bead here, and I'm going to be stringing on some dragon thread. And since I'll be stringing a lot of seed beads, I thought the big eye needle would be really helpful with that. And then in this dish, I just pulled some things from my stash. I have this really beautiful assortment of tubular or cylindrical spacer beads, and I've just done some leftovers. So if you like this project, really I encourage you to go pull out some of your leftover spacer beads from past boxes. That's what these they look like check glass faceted beads, but they're metal. They're like faux facets, I guess. And so let me show you, because this was really cool. I was already doing a project when my Potomac treasure box was delivered, and this is what I was working on. And these are super long, you guys. So at the end of the video, I'll put up some pictures with the styling options and what this idea is. Let me just clear a little space. So I was out shopping with my son, and I get inspiration just looking at things. And we popped into a nationwide chain that sells women's clothing, and here in America, and they have a really very expensive fashion jewelry, but they decorate all the mannequins in the store with this really stunning jewelry, and I love to just go there and look. And so they had done these colorful seed bead necklaces that were dotted with gold elements, and then they were kind of layered with open chains, and it just was stunning. And you know, my two favorite words in jewelry design are stunning and simple, and that's what these are. And they really make a bold statement together. So this one, I actually created my own seed bead mix with some leftover seed beads from past Potomac treasure boxes, and just pulled in leftover spacer beads and dotted these, and they have no clasp on them. They are claspless. They're long enough to pop over your head, and I've done all these colors so that I can wear them all at once, you know, or mix and match and just choose two. And they're totally random. There's no pattern here, just totally random. And my idea was, really, I will probably pop these over my head and just wear them. They're so great for summer because they're seed beads, so they're really lightweight, but the metal accents, they do add a little bit of weightiness to it and substantiate, you know, what otherwise is just a seed bead, and it makes it very grown up. It doesn't look like juvenile jewelry, but colorful, elegant summer pieces. And so I have had some ideas here, and I'll put links to these in the description boxes. I have this pave carabiner. I also have this smaller spring ring loop that's just an open loop. And then this is vintage. I've had this for, I don't know, maybe 20 years. This is one of those necklace shorteners. It's really made for pearls, but these are, you know, I know some of you have to have these old ones. We used to, in the 80s, we would use these to make like a torsade. And so the idea is that if you wanted to just choose like one of these, let's just take one, and make it shorter. Demonstrate with like this carabiner. If you want to make it a shorter necklace, you can put one end in one side of like the carabiner and put the other end in this side and close this up, and then you have a shorter necklace, and you can wear this on the back. You can wear this so that like the pave carabiner is on the front, and then you have a shorter necklace. And if you get one with open space, like the smaller one would be good if you just want to do one or two like this. But if you want to gather them all up and just have this bold, colorful necklace, let me just pull out of the camera for 1 second, because the beads in this treasure box, to me, I hadn't thought, I mean, these bicones, I'm going to do a colorful one with the bicones, and I'm going to do a purple, an opaque purple, and mix in, do a little pattern with the check glass cubes that were in the box. And then they'll be, I'll be able to mix those in with my, I have one tangled up here, with my just plain my seed bead. This project is guaranteed to make you happy. Look at the colors. I mean, and then when the colorful carnival box came and I saw the purple and the yellow and these pressed glass bicone, I was so excited. I was like, how did they know what I was already working on? So like with this, if you don't want to wear these, you know, all long like this, you can just put both ends, put it around your neck, and then put this on like that. And let me try to pull out of the camera. And like I said, at the end of the video, I will put up some pictures on Gabriella Eva so you can see some of the styling options. But let me untangle this and show you. And it's really, there's not enough space really on my mat, but you can like arrange all your strands, all your necklaces like that, and have all these varied lengths of this colorful, it's just beautiful. So I was actually sitting and making these, and I'm going to do 2 more with my Potomac treasure box to add in. And like I said, I'll put links to the pave carabiner, because you can use this for other things. You could use this to gather up some, you know, small pearl necklaces. This is a vintage one. I can't link this one, but these small gold plated ones are an Amazon find, and I think it was 2 in the set. So if you want to like really get creative with your strands, you in this set you would get 2. So check the description box for links for those. And I'm going to set these beauties aside. I actually had them on a little hook on my craft cart behind me, and I was just, as I make them, I was just adding them to my hook. But I was going to just kind of lay them out and show you. They are completely varied. There's like, it's relaxing, happy, joyful stringing. It's the easiest stringing you'll ever do. Random, everything is random, and just using up some of my leftover spacer beads. I had 3 of these electroplated hematite flowers. I had like 5 of these, and just like using up spacer beads and you know, textures. And of course you could do silver or copper if you know you like, or gunmetal if that's the metallic that you like. I love gold, and all those bright colors with the gold accents just made me so happy. So I'm using size 6 dragon thread. I have blue and gold here. This is the gold color, and it just works perfectly for this. Even Potomac Beads even has these thread tamers, they're called, and I just pulled out the length that I need, because this is a no clasp. This is a simple knotted, you just knot it off, and it's an infinity necklace. Let me get my length here. I measured the first one just to help you guys, but obviously you can do these any length that you want. If you're planning to pop them over your head the way I am, then you want to leave yourself enough space for that. But I did my first one at 36 inches, and a couple of them are really long. My red one is really long, and I didn't measure. I put them around my neck, and I discovered that for about a 36-inch necklace, you need about 16 grams of 8/0 seed beads. I don't know if that reference will help you. And a big eye needle is supposed to be super easy to thread. There it goes. So if you haven't seen that before, a big eye needle is like a really fine wire, but it's split in half. And like I said, this is the easiest stringing, and I chose a big eye needle that's kind of long so that I could, get a lot of stringing done very quickly. And I have this little beading tray, and I think I'm going to start with these gorgeous bicones. Just going to dump them into this little beading tray, and on these I am going to add in some gold seed beads just from my stash. I don't actually have any from Potomac Beads right now, but I normally like to do a little bit better quality of metallic seed beads, but today I'm going to use these because it's what I have, and I'm just going to dot the pattern with the gold seed beads. And my cube beads are going to go with these purples. That's the plan. And you do need a stop bead. Don't be brave and think you don't need it, because you do. So if you're brand new to this, it's super easy. I'm just going to put any bead that's different than what you're stringing on and come down. We will need to tie a knot, so leave yourself some tail thread that's enough to tie several overhand knots, left over right, right over left. That's all I'm doing. Don't overthink it. And I'm just making a loop around that stop bead. And if you're a bead weaver, then this is a no-brainer. You do this all the time. But that way I won't lose any of my stringing. And I am going to start stringing. And the only thing I'm going to do with this mix, I'm going to do random. I am going to do random gold and bicones, but I think I'm going to leave out, I'm going to pick out the black ones. I don't think I really want black, so I'm going to just, as I go, I'm just going to set aside the black ones, and I'm just going to string. And on this one, I'm not going to do my metal. I'm going to save my metal for my purple and yellow. So this one's going to be like an accent strand to add in, and I'm just going to pick these all up until I literally reach the end of the length of the string that I just measured out and put around my head. Okay, this is looks more daunting when you start than it actually is. I've been stringing for about 15 minutes or so, and it's gorgeous. Those beautiful little small bicones, they just make such a bold statement together. So let me scoot my seed beads out of the way here. So I ended up just dumping everything on my mat, my seed beads and all my little bicones, and I pulled out all the dark ones, the ones that were going to darken my piece, because as you saw from what I was already working on, everything is super colorful. And so now I'm going to pull my stop bead off the end, and this is like really simple. I will pull out of the camera for just a moment before I tie this knot. I'm just going to get my first little overhand knot in there, and I just want to let gravity help me, so I'm going to just hang this off the edge of my table. It looks great. And now I'm going to do a couple of overhand knots. Take my big eye needle off of there, and this is such a cool project because you really don't need any tools. You really don't need your pliers or anything like that. So I'm going to do a couple of knots in each direction, right over left, and then I'm going to switch and do left over right, and I'm going to pull in some of my knotter's glue or beater's glue. I like the GS Hypo Cement, but there are a few on the market. Beadalon makes a nice one, and I am a gluer. you know, you can just zap this with a thread zap, but I'm gonna do overkill here. And I did put out a handmade clasp here just to show you. I have a video where I show how to do these, and I had this one left over from something and I made it. And so if you did want to do a clasp, you could use a wire guardian. We got wire guardians in the treasure box this month, you know, and you could like run your dragon thread through the wire guardian and knot it off, and then, you know, do a clasp with some jump rings. But I love the simplicity of this just popping over the head, and of them being long enough to play with and double them over, you know, as I was sharing with you in the beginning. So I'm just going to take a little dot of my GS Hypo Cement right here and just get that knot covered. And I'm going to take my thread zap. You can use scissors or whatever you have to get rid of your thread, but I'm just going to use my thread zap. And when my glue dries, I might even trim that a little bit closer, but that is so pretty. And like I said, I was already doing these. I just have to pull in my stack again so that I can lay this in here and see what it looks like. Look at that. It's gorgeous. That little bicone colorful mix was just the perfect addition to what I was already making. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing again with the Azuki seed beads, and this is going to be my only one that actually has a little bit of a pattern. So I'm going to get another very long length of my dragon thread and do the same thing with a stop bead. So we had 25 pieces of this check glass cube. So I'm going to do the five sections of 5. And those are going to be like bead stations on my final strand. And I am also going to dot these with the gold seed beads. So these are going to be like really bright bead stations in between this deep, rich, opaque purple. Probably need a few more than that. So I think I'm going to do my purple really random, not count or anything, but when I've fed on quite a few of these dark opaque purple, I'm going to do a little bead station. So let me show you. Get a few purples on. So I'm going to grab one of my little metal spacers. I'm just going to do these little metal spacers as I transition into my sections of yellow cube beads. So I'm going to do a cube bead separated by a seed bead in groups of 5. I'll thread it on and I'll show you what it looks like. So that's what this is going to look like. It's going to be a little bit of a pattern. And you know what was so beautiful, what I saw in the store commercially made, not handmade, what was so beautiful about the long strands of the bright colored seed beads dotted with the cool gold beads. I should have taken a picture to share with you guys, but it was random shaped gold beads that just kind of showed up at random, and that was what was so beautiful about it, was the scatter of gold and how those bits were just kind of showed up in the around the neck, you know, and it was just so pretty, layered with large chains and other colorful things. So I'm not going to count my sections of purple in between the yellow and gold bead stations, but I am going to dot the purple with some of my metal spacers. So let me get a few more on here, and I'll choose one of my metallic cylindrical beads. And you know, also, if you like this project, you don't have to use expensive, perfectly uniform seed beads for this. In fact, you get a little bit prettier texture and look if they're not perfectly uniform, because it's like the world's easiest stringing. So you can use less expensive seed beads or leftovers if you have little bits from different things. It's so pretty and so simple. Like I said, my two favorite words in jewelry: simple and stunning. So let me just choose something. Choose one of these. Isn't that pretty? And the other thing I will do is, when I'm all finished with all of my strands, because all of my colorful strands are dotted with these gold spacers that are plated base metal, and I'm just going to go strand by strand with my Permalac coating. I just got a fresh bottle, and just lay this on plastic and brush my metal spacers, and it dries really fast. It doesn't take long to do it, and then, you know, I can wear these as much as I want. So I'm going to do what I did before and just string the whole length of this strand, and in between my purple, I'm going to place this yellow and gold bead station. Okay, my purple one is all done. Try to give you a good look at the pattern, but like I said, these are quite long, and so I'll put up some better pictures and some styling options at the end of the video. But look at this. Isn't that so pretty? And look at it with the one with the bicones. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful combination. I just love it together. And then with my red one, look at the purple and the red. I mean, you can just play with these. I just want to keep playing and playing. And then I took the purple one and added that one in to my pinks and like my sherbet colors. And look what the purple does with the pinks and like all the summer colors. I just love this idea. I think it's so much fun. And like I said, you can just play with endless combinations, endless styling options with a pretty carabiner or I think I've always called this a ring, like a necklace shortener, or a necklace clip. But like I said, I'll put some links in the description box if you like this project and you'd like to play around with this idea. But when you put these all together, they are so stunning. Okay, I do need to quit playing because I do have one more thing to do, but it's really hard not to play with these. They're just so fantastic. And so like I said, I'm going to take each strand and just let me get one that's on top. I'll do my purple one. I'm going to take each strand and I'm just going to get my Permalac coating ready and just go around, and I'm just going to brush my metal spacers just like that. Any of these little plated spacers, just so that my pieces stay nice and shiny. It's very fast, very easy. I should put a little piece of plastic down and lay them and do them all, but it dries really, really fast. And so I'm going to do all of these off camera, and then I'll pause everything and take some final pictures, and I'll go get Gabriella Eva out of her room and show you guys some of the ideas I had for styling these. So don't forget to check the description box for the links to Potomac beads if you're interested in the treasure box. There's a link there for that, but also they have a fabulous website for seed beads and everything. I get my demi rounds there most of the time, and they have a lot of check glass buttons, and it's just really a great resource for jewelry makers. And I hope everybody's having a great summer, and I will see you all in the next video. Ciao, everybody.